And this is going to be restorative yin. Um, it's just a really great practice, I would say. If you have a lot of tension that you felt building up, either emotionally or physically, it's really hard on the body to have so much stress all the time, especially with current events. You know, our cortisol levels are just surging through our bodies and our nervous system. It's not really getting a break. So this type of a class is designed to help that. So I really hope that throughout your practice, you can really grab hold of the feelings that you desire for peace, for relaxation, for wellness, and that's something you can learn to kind of bring through the rest of your week, okay? I would like you to get started by gathering all your props that you have and getting very comfortable. Think of it as a pre-shavasana shavasana. So you can go ahead and grab bolsters, blankets, pillows, lay down. Definitely place some support under the knees. You can do a pillow. You can place support under the back, under the head. Maybe you even lay a blanket over the lap. And then once you get to where you think you're pretty comfortable, I'd like you to scan the body. Now we're starting with just the body. We're not going to breath or the brain yet. Just notice the physical body and ask, can I be any more comfortable than I am right now? Is there any way? Even if it was only 5%, 2%, 1% more comfortable. And then figure out what that means. Maybe it's letting the arms and legs come a little bit further apart. Maybe test rotating the palms up or down, leaning the toes in or out. Maybe even tucking the shoulder blades under just a little bit so that the collarbones can spread just marginally, just a tiny bit in front of you. Wiggle through the hips, wiggle through the rib cage. And then just feel your bones as they start to land and sink. The flesh softening, the muscles relaxing. Allow stillness to come over the body. And now notice that there's still movement of the body, even though you're not moving it. Your breath, like ocean waves rolling in, rolling out. There's movement, chain reaction. Air coming in through the mouth or the nose, down through the airway, filling the lungs. As the lungs expand, so does the rib cage. Internal organs begin to shift. Perhaps the belly even lifts. And then you exhale, and the abdomen releases. The rib cage softens back together like an accordion closing. You can feel sensation maybe in the throat as you exhale. Feeling this chain of events for each breath. Being mindful of each component of the breath, each part of the body affected, moving. Inhaling and exhaling. Now the body is incredible. It'll breathe itself. But when we draw attention to the breath, when we control this breath and practice our pranayama, it can do amazing things for us. We can actually control and manually shift our nervous system. Going from all the busyness, all the stress, to feeling peace, to feeling safety and calmness. Continuing this style of breath, but changing our awareness. As you inhale, I'd like you to imagine your breath as some sort of light, maybe like an orb. You can pick a color, maybe you can see one in your mind. And as you breathe in, it begins to travel the spine, so it starts at the back of the throat. Goes down the natural curve of the cervical spine, finding a new curve through the thoracic. Again, a different type of curve through the lumbar, the snake-like pattern. Sacrum, all the way down to the tailbone. If your inhale is very long, if you have a lot of lung capacity, perhaps even goes down through the hips and the legs. But then reverse this pattern, this imagery in your mind as you exhale. The breath rising up, tracing that same pattern, snake-like shape of the spine, S-like curves. A lot of times we think of breathing in and down with the air, or breathing out and down with the air, but really you can just imagine in our mind for now, tracing our spine. So in, the air comes down. Out, the air goes up. And as you do this, where in the body are you feeling a little extra softening? Where are the muscles that hug the bones beginning to release their grip? Perhaps you can intentionally soften the face, releasing the eyes, the nose muscles. There are muscles that we use to flare the nostrils. Can you begin to soften those? Can you release the inner ear? Through the jaw, the neck, the shoulders, moving down the upper arms and the chest. Feeling the front and the back of the body at the same time as we move down towards the middle of the torso, middle of the arms, to the hips, pelvis, near the hands. There's a gradient here. Keep working down through the thighs and the knees, and the calves and the ankles, all the way down to the toes. Everything is soft, relaxed, allowing there to be some sort of release, a yielding. Just begin to notice yourself in the space. Perhaps the physical space that you're in, you can, with your eyes closed, sense where are you in the room that you're in. Can you sense the items around you? Props. Maybe the mental space. Are your thoughts all very close together, or is there some space between them? And if there's space, can you try and savor that space? Enjoy that space, that consciousness, the awareness between thoughts of just being. Feeling a soft and easy breath now. The body breathing itself, no work from you. And just begin to think about, begin to notice, become aware of the thoughts that are in your mind. Welcoming whatever it is, giving it a label though. Doing so without judging yourself. even if your thoughts themselves are judgmental. Perhaps you can label a time, maybe the thoughts are from the past, the present, or the future. By assigning some sort of a label to these thoughts as we relax with our body still, helps the mind acknowledge what's happening inside and then release, letting go. The theme that we're going to be working through during this practice is Ishvara Pranidhana, surrendering to the divine, maybe relinquishing control, recognizing that there's more to us, more to life than just us. We are all so beautifully connected. So to really find that and feel that connection, let's breathe together, which is so interesting to do when we aren't physically together. So everyone, go ahead and exhale completely. Get empty of air. All together now, let's inhale, fill the lungs. Exhale, sigh it out, let it feel good. Inhale. Exhale. Cleansing breath in again, go ahead. And sigh it out. Good, let there be a smile on your face. Just for you, nobody else. Just appreciating the community that we can still experience even when we're separated. And I'd like you to bring attention to your hands, your feet, places far away from the center of your body. Notice sensation there. Temperature, maybe there's texture if they're touching props. If you're wearing socks, have a blanket on you. And then begin to move the awareness towards the center of your body. And just noticing. How do we know we have bodies if we're not looking at them? By sensing, by feeling. Coming all the way to the heart space. Feeling that place where the breath moves. And from here, I'd like you to invite some gentle movement to the limbs. It can be the hands, the feet. You can shift through the hips and the shoulders. If you're laying down on your back, you can reach your arms up overhead, get a full body stretch. Just notice the breath. If it's picked up a little bit with the movement, try and slow it back down. Good. Now, go ahead and come up and find yourself in a tabletop, table-like shape. And we're just going to do this so we can move through the body a little bit so we can find stillness again. If your knees give you any trouble at all, I would like you to go ahead and place a pillow, blanket, towel, anything soft under the knees. I'll go ahead and put my pillow under my knees as well. And then from here, and by the way, if the wrists give you trouble as well, you can always bring pillows under the wrists. You can come down to forearms. There's options for you, okay? You can make fists. And just begin to sway the hips side to side. Maybe draw circles through the hips. One direction, then the other. Good. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to find a Sphinx pose. I'm going to give you two different options for how to do this. There's traditional Sphinx, or if you're doing the more yin-y side, but if you're doing more restorative and you'd really like to take any sort of weight or pressure out of the shoulders, the elbows, I'm going to offer you a supported Sphinx. So you'll grab your pillows, you'll grab your support, rolled up beach towels, whatever you have, and you are going to place that bolster or that prop perpendicular to your mat so it crosses like a T. And then you are going to lay your chest right on top of it, just like this. And you'll notice that there's no weight in my arms, so I can just let them be heavy. Now, the deeper back bend you want here, and we are starting early in the practice with this back bend, so be easy on yourself, really looking for your edges. But the further back you bring that towards the pelvis, the deeper of a back bend you're going to feel. And because this is restorative yin, I'd like to offer you a tuck of the chin, lengthening the crown down towards the floor. If you have a block substitute, great time to place a block beneath the forehead. And then bring the shoulders away from the ears, giving the appearance of a longer neck. Can the thighs, the shins, the tops of the feet be any heavier? Perhaps you can soften the glutes, the low back a little bit more. Allowing yourself to be draped over your props. Imagining this draping as if you had a water pitcher sitting on your table and you put a tablecloth over the water pitcher, over the table. You can just see the shape of the water pitcher. That's your body over these props, completely supported, completely at ease, but still having shape. And then just noticing what you notice. We don't often have an hour of time where we can just be, where we can be quiet, not have to move, not have to accomplish something. So if you need this time to daydream, to just let your brain wander around, let this be your time. How empowering. But know that with our theme, with our Ishvara Pranidhana, that acknowledging, that embracing view, that there's so much bigger than us. And the cool thing about the divine is you can really find connection to this niyama, whether you are spiritual or religious or not. You know, if you are, you know, this can be your observance, your respect towards God, you know, whatever religion you are, you know, it's honoring that and giving respect and knowing that you're not in control. If you're not religious, if you're not spiritual, man, you're also not in control. I mean, we know that with the weather. We know that with current events. There's some things we just have to let go of. We can do what we can do until we can't. And then what's left, you know? So perhaps even think about a time that's recent or an event that's recent that you really tried to hold on to control. You fought for it. And then at some point you just had to let go and say, what will be, will be. And then can you remember that relief that you felt when you realized that there was something bigger at play? You know, you aren't the entire movie, you're just a character in it. How cool is that? Notice in this supported Sphinx pose, if you need to adjust or move, you don't have to be completely still. If the toes need to wiggle, they can wiggle. If you need to lift one ear towards the sky and then lift the other, you can. But let there be more opening through the heart space. Each breath in that you take, the collarbones open just a little bit more. The front of the heart space opens just a bit more. And with that opening of the front of the heart, the back of the heart closes just a little bit. Offering a little bit of vulnerability here. Even though this is brave, our chests are puffed up, our chests are also open, they're bared. Let's take 3 more breaths together in the shape. Again, to ensure that we're all breathing together, even though we can't be together. We're going to do this by emptying all of the air out now, all the way. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last one for now. Breathe in. And breathe out. Good. Beginning to exit the shape that you're in. So we're in the supported Sphinx. We want to come out of it. So maybe begin to press your hands to the ground or elbows into your prop, and you push up and come off of it. And then notice what kind of movement or counter pose, counter position that you need after that. You might need a rounding. So maybe some spinal flexion and extension would be really good right about now. Nothing to excite or create heat or energy. Just to softly stir what's already there. I'm going to tell you right now that our next pose is a supported child's pose. So whatever prop that you had beneath you for your Sphinx pose, if you chose supported Sphinx, if you did traditional, you can also do traditional child's pose with no support beneath you. For this, I would like your toes towards each other but not stacked. And then your knees can be as wide as you need them to be for your body. You're going to bring your prop, whatever it is, whatever support that you have, either in front of the knees or between the knees, depending on the position of your knees. And then you're going to rest your chest down. You can hug onto the bolster if you'd like. You can let the arms be spread, take up space, palms up or down. There is no right, there is no wrong. You can even tuck the forehead. Really stretching through the back of the neck. And in this shape, it's pretty easy to see where the surrender is here, this bowing down position. In this shape, you're also protected. You're protecting the front of the heart while opening the back of the heart. In this child's pose, breathe in and feel the back of the body get bigger, expand. And then exhale, soften, release. Inhale, the back body lifts away from the bolster, the prop. Notice what happens with the front body. Does it lift with it, or does it expand and press and find resistance? That's what balance is, right? One thing gives, another thing takes. Push, pull. Find the balance of the shape of the breath in this pose for you. Once you find it, once you've yielded to that, draw your awareness to the mind. Noticing what thoughts arise. Perhaps imagery welcoming all of it, because in this moment, maybe it's teaching you something. I'm going to let you know when we are halfway through this shape, through this pose. That way you can adjust if you need to reposition or to turn your head. So during this time, don't worry about time. I will do that for you. You can just be with your own thoughts. Be in your own body. Fully in control of your own practice. We are now halfway through the time for the shape. Feel free to stay exactly how you are or to adjust, to move, to turn the head. And then use the breath to settle back down, to land. Perhaps picking up one of our meditative tools. Perhaps that breath work we did, where you imagine that light orb as you breathe in, traveling down the spine, following the curves of the body, curves of the spine. As you breathe out, riding that wave of curves back up and out. I'd like to share with you Yoga Sutra 245. Through faith and trustful surrender to the unknown divine, we find ease and joy. Through faith and trustful surrender to the unknown divine, we find ease and joy. That letting go, that giving up responsibility. Not my circus, not my monkeys. That's where we find the ease and the joy of life. Just riding the waves. Just like we ride the waves of the breath. Deep inhale. And an exhale. Letting your hands find the floor. And then pressing into the hands to lift the torso away from your props. And then maybe moving your props so that you can sit on them between the legs. So the knees are now apart, the heels are apart. You've got some sort of a prop beneath your tush. That way you can sit. If this is still very tough for you with your knees, you can kneel as well. Again, you can also cushion beneath the knees. You can place a pillow between the backs of the thighs and the tops of the calves. Lots of options, lots of modifications. Take the one that is best for you. You can be like Goldilocks. Try them all and then choose which one's best. From here, I'd like you to begin to open through the heart space, front of the heart. If it's accessible, you can interlace your fingers behind your low back and then pull the knuckles down. If this is not something that works for you, you can grab shirt or you can just make fists and then push your fists towards each other behind you. Notice though, if to do this you have to really anteriorly rotate the shoulder and really drop it forward, try to not do that. Try and bring the shoulders back. So maybe if this is just not working for you, shoulders have to come forward. Instead, I'm going to have you bring fists out and then pull elbows together behind you, okay? This is the one thing about these online classes. I can't see you, so I'm just going to give you all the options and you choose which one works for your body. Just sitting, opening through the chest, but can you lengthen through the spine? Notice if you've gotten a little bit lordotic, your tailbone's flaring out. And then try and lengthen through the spine. Sit up nice and tall. Reach up through the crown. Soften through the shoulders, through the face. What is arising within? Good. Bring hands to the lap. Now walk the hands back down. We are going into our half frog pose. We're going to start on the right side, so we're going all the way down to the floor. Trying to make sure I stay in frame here so you can see me. So laying down, you can make a pillow for your head with your hands. You could do forehead or you can turn your head, it doesn't matter. If you're going to turn your head, please turn your head towards the right. You're going to begin to draw the right knee up as if you're trying to bring your right knee towards your right rib cage. And then let the body soften. Only bringing that knee up as far as you need to. If you need to bring the heel away from the body, you can. And keep it tucked in. No right, no wrong. Now, the whole front of our body is really rooted down towards the earth. In fact, you can even imagine as you inhale and you feel the back of your body lifting away from the earth, you feel that press of the front of the body down into it. This pulse of life towards the ground, towards the sky, this balance. And as you breathe through the back of your body, imagine that part expanding, lifting. And the front of your body that's on the ground is rooting down, becoming more stable. Providing a sense of safety, yet a sense of ease as well as the upper side of our body that's facing the air, the sky, back side of the body, is light and free. can you surrender in this pose just a little more? Thinking of surrender not as giving up, not as a negative thing. Instead, try and reframe how you feel about the word surrender. Perhaps you can think of it as a willingness to allow nudges, to accept little nudges in a direction that maybe you didn't want, but that can lead you to a greater good. Surrender doesn't have to mean loss or failure. It could actually lead you to your greatest success. So by surrendering in these shapes, our bodies can ultimately find their greater good. And by reaction, so can our minds and our hearts. If you had your head turned towards the right, go ahead and turn it towards center now. Forehead to the hands. And then send the right leg back in line with the left. If you need some counter movement here, bend the heels, bend the knees. Actually, don't bend the heels, bend the ankles, that's the word. And bend the knees and then sway. Then we're going to do the other side. So keep the head the way it is, or turn the gaze towards the left. Softly land the feet and begin to draw the left knee up as if you're drawing it towards the left rib cage, finding your half frog on the left side. Front body heavy towards the floor, hip points heavy towards the earth. And perhaps your chest, your torso, never lost that connection because it didn't really move. So can you let that stability really spread back down through the legs, helping the new roots growing down to the earth through that left leg, through the right leg, be a little stronger, a little quicker. Feel yourself submitting to the pose, being nudged to be softer, to be more accessible maybe. Perhaps being nudged to listen to the body better, respond to its needs. We often say namaste at the end of class. Traditionally, it's a greeting, saying, I see you, honor the divinity that's in you, the light that's in you, and recognizing it in ourselves. So thinking about that, I'd like to just share a very brief quote by Judith Hanson Lassiter. And it's a quote as well as an invitation. Honor your divinity. Honor the divinity of the other as well. So who is the other? Well, it could be anyone. It can be anything. Perhaps you can try to say namaste to everyone and everything you encounter for the rest of the day today, which is short, so it's an easy challenge. As you look out the window tonight and you see perhaps the moon or stars, trees, Can you honor their part in the bigger picture of life? People you encounter, family, as you say goodnight, just in your head, a little nod. Can you admire their divinity, their connection, not just to you, but to everything, to the greater good? Again, just giving up a little bit of control, finding ease and peace there. Begin to turn your forehead towards your hands if you haven't. If it was turned towards the left, and begin to slide the left leg long so it's in line with the right leg. Laying here completely prone. Notice if the body wants some movement. Perhaps tapping of the feet, wiggling of the hips or the ribs. Maybe the hands want to reach down by the hips or up overhead. There's no right, there's no wrong. And then you're going to find yourself pressing yourself up, again, moving through that table shape, and then finding yourself seated. And you're going to get both of your feet towards each other and the knees apart, finding our butterfly. You can bring the heels in close to the body if you wish, or make more of a diamond shape, whatever feels better for your hips as well as your knees. Okay, any negative sensation on the inside or the outside of the knee, we really want to avoid that. So find support. Again, use your pillows. You can place them under the thighs, the knees, or the calves. You can place them under the feet. You can place a blanket over your lap. You can bring support in front of you as well. That way you can round and rest forward. Find a real earth element here in this butterfly. Letting the entire spine round all the way through the axis, the atlas, top of the spine to the crown of the head. Feeling yourself not just holding a shape, but being a shape. If you'd like a mantra to breathe to, just inhaling so, exhaling hum, so, hum. Just silently to yourself. Slowly in, so, slowly out, hum. Meaning I am that connection. The one that we've been practicing and working to have all practice, all class. Feel your body just melting. Not from heat, not from fire, but from happiness, from joy that you can cultivate from within. Perhaps thinking of a loved one, a pet, maybe your favorite meal, anything that when you think about it, some sort of memory, maybe a sound or smell, something that brings true joy right to the center of you. And then you just feel it begin to melt you. That's true love. And that true love can be for a grilled cheese sandwich or a person or a puppy. Whatever gives you authentic joy. Begin to wiggle through the fingers. Push into the hands and begin lifting up through the heart. You can either hinge up or you can round up like there's a wall behind you and you're trying to get each part of the spine to that wall one bit at a time. Whatever works best for you. Blink the eyes open. Just take in your surroundings for a minute. Perhaps bring hands to shoulder heads. Roll them down and back. Sit up nice and tall. And now bring whatever prop you had in front of you, if you had it, whatever props you have, and we're going to bring them behind us. So to the back of your mat, we're going to do a supported fish or heart bench, whatever you'd like to call it, a real chest opener, okay? So I'm using a bolster, as you can see. This is a round bolster. I think I'm going to substitute it out for a flat bolster. So grabbing my flat bolster, or you can stack some pillows. Just begin to bring it all the way to you, to your sacrum. And then you can bring your hands to the floor and just slowly roll onto this prop. And the legs can be however you'd like. You can keep this open hip. You can stretch the legs long. You can bring hips in line with the knees, or you can even find an internal rotation through the hips. Knees together, feet wide. Okay, again, Goldilocks it. Find what is best for you. Once again, tuck the shoulder blades beneath you. They come to hug the spine so that your shoulders can just melt down the sides of your props. Your collarbones, it's like they've softened so much they just spread apart. And let the eyes close. Again, you're just draped over your prop, pouring down the sides of it, as if your prop is a stack of pancakes in your hot syrup. Going to do a brief guided meditation here. If you'd rather just kind of zen out, I invite you to let my voice just kind of fade into the background. If you'd like to listen, you can listen. The eyes closed and the body relaxed. I'd like you to imagine that you're in a room. Not the room you're in. You're in a different room, one that you've just walked into and you notice it's got most of your favorite things, your favorite style of furniture, perhaps your favorite flowers in a vase. You begin to look around to really notice what's present. Take an inhale and you smell your favorite fragrance. It's like this place was built from your dreams. You even have a taste in your mouth. Good music is softly playing. You immediately feel at ease here, like you've been here before. And then you keep walking and you look over and you see a fireplace. And there's a fire going. There's a very comfortable chair next to the fire. You decide to have a seat. So you sit down. You put your legs up. And your whole body relaxes. You let your eyes close, or you look into the fire. This is your choice. But either way, you can see the dancing of the flames. If you've closed your eyes, it's through closed eyelids. Flashes of color, of shape. If you're looking into the flames, you're really watching them dance. And your whole body relaxes even more. Recognizing how safe you are, how happy you are. In this room, you've got everything you could ever need. And you can choose to stay here, to relax by the fire, perhaps stretch out your legs and take your Shavasana in this place. Or maybe you'd like to gently get up out of your chair, walk around, look at the other things in the room, items that your mind has placed there because you love them, they're your favorites. Maybe things you've had and lost. Maybe treasures you hope to have one day. And you can allow that dreaming sense to really wash through the body. Allowing the body to get very comfortable now as we move into Shavasana. So perhaps you come off of your prop. You find another way to support the body. Maybe you add cushioning beneath the knees. Maybe you come onto the side or the belly, making this the most comfortable Shavasana you can ever imagine. Using blankets, pillows. And when you are very comfortable, with the eyes opened or closed, just allow the body to soften. Sometimes it's hard to notice when we've softened, if we can soften, so maybe even tense the body isometrically, using the muscles, firming them, feeling that effort, that work, and then letting all of it go. Now you know that you found ease. Notice the sound of your breath. Once again, the movement of it. Moving your body, moving your prana, your life force. Riding the waves. Appreciating that we're not always in control of those waves. We're not even always in control of our breath. Luckily, we aren't. And allow yourself to really enjoy your Shavasana and find deep peace here in your safe space. Can you savor the stillness of your body for just a moment more? The gift of having no obligation in this moment. No authority, no demands. Just being here. And now take another moment to feel connection, either to the divine or to the other yogis practicing. Maybe using a little extra effort to try and reach them with good thoughts, good intentions, with pure love, truly wishing well, offering them that namaste, recognition. Begin to move through the hands and the feet. If you need a little extra energy to come in through the fingertips, begin flicking the fingertips like there's water on them. You can try it with the toes, but I don't know how well that will go. We'll see. And then you can make fists, and you can roll and flex and move through the wrists. You can roll and move and flex through the ankles. And then take up more space. Maybe stretch, maybe reach. Find some movement. Noticing any thoughts that are either lingering or surfacing now. Deciding as you come to a seated position, sitting any way that's comfortable for you, if there's anything that you'd like to just set beside your mat. Just leave it there in a neat little pile. Something that will get swept away as soon as the practice is over. You don't need it anymore. Perhaps a little bit of control or the need to control. Or maybe the feeling of being isolated. It's hard. But we're all connected. The big picture. We're all there. I'd like you to bring your hands to your lap. We're going to do the TC mudra. A mudra of letting go of anxiety, of control, of fear, of the need to control. You're going to turn your palms. You can do it towards yourself. I'm going to do it towards you so you can see. And you're going to close the thumbs in. Bring the thumbs towards the palms. And then wrap the fingers around the thumb. And then you can bring your knuckles towards each other and bring your hands to your forehead. I almost said your mind. Bring your hands to your forehead. And allow yourself to release any of those controlling, anxious, worrisome thoughts. Give yourself permission. Bring the hands to the mouth. Giving yourself grace for anything you may have said, anything you may have done from those feelings. Starting over. And now bring them to the heart. Setting an intention, moving forward. Fresh beginning with true joy, with the type of surrender that allows you to be nudged towards the direction for the greater good. And with that, thank you so much for letting me practice with you. Soham and Namaste.